Well, I hope everyone had a fantastic Labor Day. Welcome to the City of Madison's Board of Public Works and Safety. Today is September the 5th. We're recording the meeting live on City of Madison YouTube channel. You can also see it in archives. Let's get started. Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Carlo?
Here.
Mayor Courtney?
Here.
Eaglin?
Here.
All right, Board, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes from the last meeting, August 21st? If so, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second the motion.
All right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to claims.
Mayor had an opportunity to review the claims. I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
Second David's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on, I'd like to introduce our new Chamber Executive Director, Liz, up to talk about, Chamber of Commerce Soup, Stew, Chili, and Brew. And I see you have a couple of your board members with you today. You're welcome to introduce fabulous board members.
This is Kelsey Shaw. She's our board president, and Michaela Owens, our board member.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Clerk, we'll turn it over to you.
Resolution number 43B-2023, a resolution of the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana regarding street and parking lot closings for the annual Soup, Stew, Chili, and Brew Festival. Whereas there has been a request filed by Liz Saganovich on behalf of the Madison Area Chamber of Commerce for street and parking lot closings for said group in connection with the Soup, Stew, Chili, and Brew Festival to be held on Saturday, October 14th, 2023. Now therefore it be resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that the following streets shall be closed for parking purposes only from 6 p.m. on Thursday, October 12th, 2023 through 8 p.m. on Saturday, October 9th, 2023. West Street from Main Street north to Fountain Alley. Be it further resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety that the following streets and parking lots shall be closed on Saturday, October 14th, 2023 from 6 a.m. through 8 p.m. Main Street from the west side of Jefferson Street to the east side of Broadway Street. West Street from Main Street north to Fountain Alley. The dumpster will remain until Monday. West Street from Main Street south to Hens Lane. Mulberry Street from Main Street north to Fountain Alley. Mulberry Street from Main Street south to Hens Lane. Broadway Street from Main Street north to 3rd Street. Each alley running north from Main Street to Fountain Alley between Jefferson Street and Broadway Street. Each alley running south from Main Street to Hens Lane between Jefferson Street and Broadway Street. And city parking lot located on the corner of Main Street and Poplar Street. Be it further resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that said streets and parking lot as closed shall be under the supervision and control of the Madison Area Chamber of Commerce at the times noted above for the year 2023.
Welcome, Liz.
Thank you. You got it.
Your first appearance before the city as its new executive director, so congratulations.
Thank you.
This is how many years for Soup, Stew, Chili, and Brew? 20?
This is the 21st annual.
21st. The event gets better and better every year. So tell us a little bit about the event. We've got the resolution in front of us, and we also have the event safety plan. So we just have a few questions, I think,
Sure.
on event safety and certainly about what we were texting about,
Yes.
the trash removal for the most trash and portalets, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
So for our porta potties, we're going to have 10 porta potties this year. We're going to up that number, and 2 of those porta potties will be handicapped. We'll have hand washing stations, the dumpster, and those porta potties will be removed from the street right after the festival at 6:30. The dumpster, I wanted to talk to you about that. We would like to put that dumpster on West Street, right next to Red Rooster, north side of Main, if at all possible, just to make it easier to get it out there, get it out Monday morning. I know in previous years it was parked behind City Hall.
Well, I think we experimented with that last year so that we didn't have the dumpster there over the weekend next to one of our businesses right in the middle of the heart of town. And also I need to check, and I think our Deputy Mayor McGee is here. We also will have a paving project going on. I'm not sure when that's gonna start, but let's kind of cover a couple of those things. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan for leaving the dumpster there over the weekend. We wanted to move it so that it wouldn't impact the rest of the community after the event was over with. And did it not work out okay being in City Hall, this
From
parking
what
lot
I
back here?
heard, it might have been a little hard to maneuver in and out, and I wouldn't want it to disrupt, City Hall's parking, come Monday morning. So but clearly, up to you where you'd
Okay.
rather have it. So, yes, we were thinking, utilizing the entire Main Street parking lot next to McWiggins to put our kids in there for the kids zone. Just kind of gets them off the street, gets them in one little confined little area, and
Have we left that open before for parking?
I think it was open before for parking, from what I've heard,
Yep.
that nobody really utilized it. It's,
We do have the
it just-
charging stations there for the electric vehicles in that
Okay.
parking lot.
I'll be honest with you, I like the idea of putting the kids all in one little festival, because it almost creates another kid festival while the Soup Sioux Chili event's going on Main Street. I like that idea. We would just have to reconcile losing the available parking during that day.
And the charging stations.
We've done it both ways.
Yeah,
At one time, they closed off the parking lot for the kids. And then they kind of went back to leaving the parking lot open, accessible for parking. Concerned about the parking spots, downtown. So it's kind of went back and forth both ways. We do have more additional parking behind the comfort station
Yeah.
now that we didn't have before,
True.
so.
I
that's
wonder
a
if that wouldn't
plus.
be a good spot for the dumpster also, behind the.
it's
dumpster
pretty tight
station.
back there.
Oh, it's pretty tight.
It's a
yeah.
lot tighter than getting in and out of our space back here. I mean, I'm willing to experiment with the kid zone, because that's a pretty good footprint, in my opinion, to do a lot of things with.
And then
Would,
I'm gonna
would
like,
we be
Yeah.
able to use maybe half the parking lot, like maybe the west side of the parking lot, partition it off for the kid zone?
possibly, I'm going through all our inflatables. I know I have a 60-foot obstacle course, so I'm gonna map out to see how that works out. I mean, preferably, I would like the whole thing, and then if I can't get it for a kid zone, maybe I can have it for our vendor parking lot. Close it off for that. But again, I would really like to have it for the kid zone and like put security out there, on those kids, watching in the alley. Just seems safer.
I think it's a good idea to try myself. I'm just visualizing an even bigger event, because you've got a very designated footprint that focuses on our kids. And as Dave was saying, we have the other parking behind the comfort station. There's probably about 15 spaces back there now that we didn't have. So you're probably netting out, maybe losing 10 spaces if you close that lot. And
Yeah.
Pick them up.
I'm okay with trying it if the board is. I think it's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we do go ahead with closing the full thing, maybe we just put a notice at the charging stations that they will be unavailable
Yeah.
during this time period.
Okay,
You could do that.
will do.
The
And-
ones on Mulberry will still be available, is that correct?
Yes.
EV
And by the
And
gateway.
then, I have a question for you regarding those charging stations. Is there power there in that parking lot that we could utilize for these?
There's power to the charging stations, and there's probably power to the gazebo area, but I believe there is power over there at that lot.
Okay.
Thanks,
Could that be something we could look into, getting the power to blow up those inflatables?
Sure.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah, you're welcome. So on that, I'm okay if the board wants to approve the parking, the using of the parking lot, and we'll just do some signage to make sure that everybody knows there's available parking, behind the comfort station now, and everybody knows it's a big event. They'll just have to drive somewhere to find good available parking, and they're willing to walk for this festival. And then the other thing is just, sounds like you already have a good plan for the portalets, because I know that was an issue last year, of maybe having the centralized rest area down there. Kind of put everybody down there at a little bit of a disadvantage, so that sounds like it's gonna be fine, and you're gonna remove those right after the festival. My preference still is to try to work out an alternative location so we don't leave a big dumpster of garbage all weekend on West Street. It's just not very flattering for our city, candidly.
Okay. Let me work on that.
Okay. And it might have been a little difficult to maneuver back here, but we're also flexible on where we put them back
Okay.
here. I know that, the goal is to not litter up our main street, because we'll still have a lot of visitors in over the weekend after Soup Stew Chili Brew. And, we'll just work around an alternative place for the dumpster, if that's okay.
Okay, yes.
And the other thing I just wanted to mention too, just an observation, is a lot of the festivals have volunteers who frequently empty the trash containers on the sidewalk during the event. I know that our street department probably will do a sweep at the end of the event that night, or first thing in the morning when they come. But if we just make sure that the sidewalk containers are emptied through the day, so they're not overflowing onto the sidewalk, that'll keep the festival area cleaner
Absolutely.
for all of the visitors, because you'll have a lot of people here all day.
Yes, very important.
That might be a project maybe for a Boy Scout troop or some organization like that.
Yeah.
To, make a little extra funds, maybe.
Yes.
You might
Yes.
check that out. So.
Yeah, and also, Shaw High School has community service hours for their seniors.
Yeah.
So we're looking into that too as well. And, I've got some volunteers already but we'll make sure that it's clean, leave no trace, and throughout the festival, nobody wants to look at garbage overflowing.
Yeah, I've noticed that's kind of been a problem in the past with
Okay.
the containers on the sidewalks overflowing.
They kind of get overlooked because they're behind everyone,
Okay,
but if you're on the sidewalk, it's really noticeable.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'll make sure we get that taken care of.
With all those items in mind, I will make a motion to approve resolution number 43B-2023.
Thank you.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any discussion or comments or questions? Hearing none, thank you for being here today. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
It's our first big event.
Yeah, that'll be here before you know it, and she's been planning it for a year, so thank you for putting that together.
Nice
Chamber.
meeting you
You're
guys.
welcome. All right, we'll move into our PACE discussion, and Nicole is here to give us an update on a couple of PACE finals.
I have 3 PACE finals for you today. The first final is 310 Broadway Street. Suzanne and Ron Hollinger completed a restoration of this property, including the removal of plywood over window openings to restore the facade with these faux balcony windows. They also restored this protective post on the rear and then finished the facade. Their work was all completed according to their PACE grant and are looking for the full disbursement of $6,736.06.
I think we can do these in a batch, is that okay? Great end product there, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
The next final is for 601 Walnut Street. William Jewell completed the restoration of this dilapidated structure and transformed it into a residence. This was all completed according to his PACE grant and is asking for the full disbursement of $25,000.
Beautiful.
And he's here if you have questions on this one.
I've got lots of questions for Mr. Jewell.
I think I'm moving.
And the
Looking
last
forward to talking to you, sir.
The last final I have is Stuart Heisey at 768 West 3rd Street. Mr. Heisey completed the restoration of this property with new hardy board siding, new access door, and new windows. This was all completed according to his PACE grant, and he's asking for the final disbursement of $3,750.
And Mr. Heisey's done several properties in Madison, hasn't he?
I believe this is his second. He
Second.
did the one right next to it, and then this one.
Wow, all great, fantastic outcomes with our PACE program.
That section of town's been utilizing the PACE.
A lot.
grants,
This
so-
is where we wanted to deploy
Yeah.
the capital, arrange the investment, and fantastic.
I'll make a motion to approve the finals, all the finals at 310 Broadway, 601 Walnut, and 768 West Third.
I'll second Carl's motion.
Any discussion, comments, or questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. And Mr. Jewell, would you come up here for a second, please, sir? I just want to say thank you. You've really transformed that property, and in transforming that property, you transformed the whole corner, and is, leading the way in transforming that whole neighborhood on Walnut Street. So I wanted to personally thank you for that investment. You and I talked about that property, and you took us through a tour of it before you started. You have a lot of courage because you undertook a major rehabilitation of a dilapidated property. As you know, I grew up across the street from there, so I'm very familiar with that. But I want to personally thank you. And what has led you to have your passion for restoring homes in that area? Because this will be the second one there on Walnut Street.
This is actually the third one.
Third?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the third. I've been interested in older houses and restoration for maybe 25, 30 years. This is, I think, my 10th or 11th restoration, and everywhere from interesting little house in Plymouth, North Carolina, an old southern mansion, to little houses up in the Rocky Mountains west of Denver, in ghost towns, that kind of thing. So I've enjoyed it. When I came here and we restored 607, where we were living here until we just moved into 601, did that one, and then I restored 605 next to it to try to get the neighbors to be better people, so to speak. Anyway, they decided they'd move after I bought it, and we restored it, and it came out fine. And now we've done the one on the corner, and I've been real happy about it. It looks to me like, once we really got cranking, that there was restoration going all around it.
It is.
And so I'm real happy to be a part of that, and I want to thank all of you very much for the $25,000. It really helped.
Well, it takes these partnerships to make things happen, and we thank you for doing it in that area, because one of the things we did a few years ago is we created targeted revitalization areas so that the investment could happen in areas of town that have been forgotten. That building had been dilapidated, neglected, boarded up, abandoned for decades.
Yeah.
It'd been a long time since that was a restaurant or a deli or a coffee shop or a residence. And our vision for that part of town is that it continues to see these dilapidated, neglected buildings starting to be given a new life that gives a new life to the whole neighborhood.
That was a grocery store when I was
Grocery store.
a child 20 years ago. Holcroft grocery.
You were a child 20 years ago?
Yeah, it was. More like 50 years ago.
Or more.
I saw a picture
60 years
taken
ago.
in 1875 of sitting in the front of that building that we restored right at the 45-degree angle doors looking back. And it shows a full-length bar along the wall there and some ladies in the back that look real pretty, and a guy standing there real proud holding his beer at the bar. So it's good to be part of that legacy.
There it
I've been
is.
hoping for ghosts in the place.
Yeah.
No luck so far.
Well, there was a time when I grew up across the street that you could go over there and get a hamburger, or walk across the street and get a donut, and then go down to Brighton Backs and get you a Big Red. So it was a great, and if you had to have your car fixed, Perks Garage was right there on the corner. Everything happened right there.
Don't get no better than that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Joe.
Thank you, and we hope to see you invest more in our neighborhoods.
Well, you never can tell. I promise the wife I won't.
There's always this backstory. Wow, fantastic outcome. Under the mayor's comments, I just want to hope everybody had a great Labor Day weekend. We've got a lot of festivals teeing up for September and October. It's going to be very busy here, visitor-wise. We also have a lot of infrastructure projects. We're continuing to work through our water improvement project on the hilltop, and some of that includes downtown as well as the tanks. Lots of road and sidewalk work about to happen. Mindy, I don't know if you're here or not, if you want to give us another update on the I know you're here, but would you like to give us an update on the CCMG project and when that's going to be let, because that will impact West Street as well?
Yeah, so CCMG, you just awarded at the last meeting the contract to O'Mara. We've divided the streets, some are uptown, or some are on the hill and some are downtown. So, those will be split. Some will be done in the spring, some will be done this fall. Obviously, West Street needs the most coordination because of Hanging Rock Hill, Michigan Road, the bridge work, the festivals. So we're gonna have to work together on all of those. For the water project piece, that application will be due in November. So it probably will not be let until January for the roads that are involved in the water project.
What Mindy's referring to is we've applied for additional CCMG funding for complete surface restoration in the neighborhoods that have been part of the major excavation related to the water improvement project, and I believe there were 5 neighborhoods. We can't do them all at once, but we will do them over a couple of cycles. The surface restoration is ongoing relative to where the excavation occurred, but many of those roads already were suffering from some deterioration, and now it makes sense to do a complete milling and repaving in those neighborhoods. So that's on the horizon as well.
Correct.
Anything else to add?
I like the little improvements you made on Second Street. It made the street smoother to drive down.
Yeah, and that was
Noticeable difference.
project to repair the failed excavations that were there.
Yeah, we have probably a couple hundred of those, Brian, roughly. That over the years, that work that had been done under a different type of scope. They're now being corrected. So the goal is to excavate and repair that utility cut to make the roads safer but smoother, and then eventually we'll come back and repave those roads too, as the rating warrants it and the funding allows it through the CCMG program. So lots to do on new road investment too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mindy.
So again, just observing all the good things that are happening across the city, and particularly with the PACE program, focusing on historic preservation and the work they're doing, revitalizing neighborhoods. Keep up the good work there, Nicole. Board, anything you would like to add on the mayor's comment section, and then we'll go to public comments.
I'd just like to thank the mayor and Tony for the work. I know it's been a long, drawn-out process, but making the announcement here 2 weeks ago on the new grocery
The
store
grocery store, yeah.
coming downtown, and the work that's going to be going along the Mulberry and Second Street corridor with sidewalk improvements, parking lot, street improvements. So looking forward to that project in the next 6 months. So,
Thank you.
I know it's been a long, drawn-out process, and I know there's been a lot of man hours put into that. So
It is.
good to see it come to fruition. So
Thank you. Yeah, more to come on that too. We'll be closing on that real estate in October and getting under construction. Thank you. Yes, thanks for reminding me of that, but we will have a public safety meeting on September the 12th, next Tuesday, at the #1 Firehouse. And the goal there is to talk about tactics that we're going to be deploying in partnership with Chief Wallace and NDOT to improve pedestrian safety on the East End. East End experiences tremendous amount of traffic because it's part of the Highway 421 system. And what we need to do is make that corridor safer, and we've been working collaboratively with NDOT to do that. And so we'll be talking about that in a public forum, and also hearing any other concerns that residents, it's open to the entire community. Even though we're having it down there and we're talking about East End, we can talk about public safety anywhere.
what time is that?
I believe it 5:30. Thank you for handing out all the brochures about that too, and getting the residents aware that we will be having that. Board, anything else?
Do you have one of the brochures? I want to put it on our bulletin board out at the firehouse.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll have some
I'll
up in the
grab some.
lobby.
I'll put them
Yeah.
out at the firehouse. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll turn it over if anybody's here who would like to address the Board of Public Works and Safety. Come up and give your name and address, please. Make your statement.
Hey,
Hi.
I'm Sue Patterson. I live at 711 Walnut Street. Had a question for you in terms of when the budget will be introduced to the public.
The budget is going through the process now, and the first reading of the ordinance will be at the second meeting in September. Then there'll be a public hearing relative to public comment on the budget will be at the first meeting in October. The budget will be adopted presumably at the second meeting in October, and then formally submitted to DLGF by November the 1st. Clerk, did I miss anything?
I guess I'm used to the way the city of Indianapolis did it, having been an employee of theirs for some 22 years. Will there be the department heads and other folks involved with the budget preparation be available there for comment? Any questions?
Not sure. The budget department heads have been involved in the making of the budget, and so now it's presenting it through to City Council. If you review that, and there'll be a public notice about the public hearing, and the budget will be available. And if you have any comments, if you want to submit those, that would be fine too. We'll make sure that if there are department heads who are affected, we'll make sure we get good responses.
Okay. And then my other question is, I noticed you guys just approved the claims as submitted. What were the number and the amount of claims submitted for passage?
He's got that information up there. Or clerk, actually, if you have it, maybe you could make that answer Sue's question.
The claim submitted today was for $3,107,180.62.
And how many claims?
There were,
We only do claims every 2 weeks, so that's probably why it's a lot.
it's always about that, since we do it bi-weekly. There were 25 pages of claims submitted and we don't number them.
I'm sure that's all my questions.
Thank you,
Thanks
Sue.
very much.
See ya. Anybody else? Our next meeting will be September the 18th. Chief, do you have any updates you want to share? No, sir. Okay. Tony? Okay. Brian? No, sir. Nicole is here. Our next meeting will be Monday, September the 18th. Today is a bit of an odd day because of the holiday, but we'll have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here.